Hello, everyone, and happy Wednesday. I hope it is good today, and or Thursday, or Friday, or Saturday. If only it were Wednesday, but it is actually Thursday right now. So happy Thursday, and I hope your Wednesday was also really awesome and great. So I was thinking about a couple of different things, um, and I have been hearing people talk about authenticity and realness and being real all of my life, and I've heard many different things about what it means to be real and what makes us real. Uh, but what's true is that what makes us real is and authentic and true is being true to ourselves, looking at what has meaning for us, and looking at what is true or what truth is for us. And so, when we think about authenticity and we think about truth, it's something that's found inside. It's not something that anyone else can give us or anyone else can tell us. It's really about, what do I like, what is it that I like? Do I like, are there certain things that I like and that I just really don't feel like I'm being myself if I don't do them? What are those things? A couple of things that um, help me to remember who I am and that keep me real and authentic are praying. I love to connect with the divine, and I love to connect with the divine in many different ways, or the creator. I like to connect to the creator through going outside, through spending some time in nature. I like to connect with the divine in times of deep silence and meditation. I like to connect with the divine in poetry, other people's poetry and writing. I also write my own poetry and do my own writing. I mean, really, I say my own, but what that really means is, that I'm a vessel for that, or, what some people would call a hollow bone, or a little hollow bone for those words to come through. And so writing poetry, writing, connecting with friends, connecting with family, connecting with elders, the giving and the receiving of love. What does that mean to give and to receive love? And so being real and what makes us real, I think it's being able to listen to ourselves about what it is that gives us a feeling of balance and centeredness and authenticity. Listening to my elders, listening to, my beloved family members, listening to their stories and the stories about where I came from, connecting with new family members. I've had some discoveries. I've discovered some new family members thanks to some DNA testing. So that's been really interesting, um, and powerful and wonderful. And it's been everything, right? Um, but, you know, what really makes us real is who we are and what we see about ourselves, regardless of our systems, our cultures, our family systems, our conditioning, our culture. What makes us real is I believe, honestly, to a greater extent, deeply related to what and who we love. And what and who we love really shows us our truth and what is real for us and what is really real about us, what is truly authentic about each of us. Because it's something that we all came here to do. We're all here to do that, and we're all here to experience that and to learn about that and to, um, you know, experience that motion of connection toward one another. So, we are tribal creatures, human beings. And so I was thinking about that. And I think that another question is, where do I come out of my realness or out of my authenticity? And when I think of coming out of our authenticity, I think about, what are the things that would cause us to do that? Well, it's the opposite of what you love, I believe. But also it is, a lot of that can come from not approving of ourselves, not loving ourselves, not seeing ourselves properly, not being with ourselves, not staying true to ourselves, no matter what anyone else thinks or says or does. But what's most essential and what's most important is that we are able to recognize that we just keep getting more real every day, and we keep learning more about ourselves. We keep learning more about our families and our culture and our ethnicity and our, where we're from and where we're going, and and honestly, some of that can change daily, and so we learn more and more about our unfolding identity and who we are every day. And so, to give ourselves space for that, and to make sure that our approval is coming from inside of ourselves, or coming from us toward ourselves. That the only approval that you really need is the approval of your own heart and your own love nature. And so I always feel like I keep getting more real every day, and more authentic every day, and I see myself differently, a little bit differently every day, and so becoming more of ourselves every day. What does that mean if I were to become more of myself every day? And I think that a lot of that has to do with the capacity to align with the things that are most important to us, but also with universal values. Or and what is a universal value? A universal value is something that 85% or more people or cultures admire or respect, or uh, is a part of their value system. So when I'm thinking about universal laws, or there's certain things that we know are ways to treat ourselves and one another with honor and respect and regard. And so how can we begin to acknowledge those things, and the realness that we can give each other when we find that common ground, where, oh, this is a place of honor and regard and respect, where I'm respecting myself and I'm extending that respect to others. So as I was thinking about this, I was thinking about, I love this. This is Stephen Mitchell's English version of the Tao Te Ching, and I really love this. And I was paging through this. It's really fun to read this. I've gone through it. I had my beloved mentor Angeles Arian talked about reading one of these a day for a year, just to allow it to guide us. And I have found that practice something really powerful. So just reading one page of the Tao Te Ching a day, and I've also recommended it for a couple of my students, and who've really gotten a lot from that. So 70 and 71 were the ones that I wanted to share. And so this one says, Stephen Mitchell's English version of the Tao Te Ching. The 70 says, my teachings are easy to understand and easy to put into practice, yet your intellect will never grasp them, and if you try to practice them, you'll fail. My teachings are older than the world, right? Like, wow. The Tao is, of course, the Tao is older than the world. But my teachings, it says, are older than the world. How can you grasp their meaning? If you want to know me, look inside your heart. So if we want to know ourselves, and if we want to know each other, and if we want to be able to connect and heal and change things, we need to honor that we have to look inside our own hearts, that it really, our intellect is not so useful in grasping the true knowing of these things. And then 71, I love this one. This is so cool. It says, not knowing is true knowledge. Presuming to know is a disease. First, realize that you are sick, and then move toward health. The master is her own physician. She has healed herself of all knowing. Thus, she is truly whole. Thus, she is truly whole. And so the not knowing, when I think of our identity and what is authentic and what is real, sometimes not knowing, sometimes not knowing is just like the best healer, and just to let go of all the knowing, and instead to be in the presence of the great and beautiful mystery. Yes, so have a very happy Thursday. Turns out it's a Thursday. And I hope you have a marvelous day. And I will see you next week. Next week, I have a special guest. Tanisha Ross is going to be with us, and she's going to talk about the voice and the power of healing. and new beginnings. And so I'm really looking forward to having Tanisha with us next week, and then Issa hopefully the following week, around healing in this time, and new beginnings. So I look forward to hearing more from you about what makes you real and what gives you that feeling of realness and being connected with who you truly are, your own deep trueness, your own deep truth, and what helps you to look inside your own heart in this ever emerging identity as we let go of some identities and as other identities emerge. Uh, so just noticing that and wondering about that. And for just a little example, like, oh, I may be, releasing my core, my identity as a mother. If my children are leaving home, and what are the identities that are emerging for me as that shifts for me? Instead of being with the children every day, all day long, I can say, oh, well, there's that artist in me, or there's that scientist in me, or there's that, these other callings. I mean, being a mother, I think, is the hardest job in the world. So other callings, even though they may not fill the time and take the energy, that there are these other children that may be calling us when our children leave home. And so that's just one example. Or if I'm shifting from one job to another, maybe I'm moving from a corporate job to an acupuncture, taking acupuncture classes, or getting involved in, maybe I'm foraging or wildcrafting, or maybe I'm moving from owning a business to working for someone else, or from working for someone else to owning my own business. So just to notice, like, where are my identity shifts right now? Where is it that I'm really being called, and how can I really align with what has the most meaning for me at this time, and allow those identities to unfold, and to be gentle with myself as that's happening. Have a beautiful week, and I'll see you soon.